beside us that the angels made sajda to. The angels made sajda to it, man. Or because of it. And here we are thinking we're helpless. I can't make a decision. I don't know what to do. You're not helpless. You're incredibly powerful.
Assalamu alaikum. You mentioned how Allah is in absolute control over everything in our life, and He has given us some control in it. There's a renowned philosopher, Islamic philosopher and poet. He says in Urdu, "Loh pitu, kalam pitu, tera wajud al-kitab." Basically, the idea of being the writer of your own book, and a lot of his work revolves around the concept of khudi. And that sounds reasonable in a way, like, because after the advent of Islam, the Muslims, there was a golden age all over. And that because Islam, I think, really gave them a sense of recognition, a purpose and identity. And we, this time, in this era, we've certainly lost some of that control that was actually in our control, but assuming that it's not in our control. Maybe as a matter of, we think as taqdeer, you can say. Yeah. So my question to you, Ustad, is how we can bring that balance back, considering what's in our control and what's not in our control in the light of Quran.
I'm really glad you brought up Dr. Muhammad Iqbal, yes, because he's one of my biggest influences. And I do believe that his poetry, his philosophy, even his English work, those of you that are interested in his English work, he wrote a paper called The Reconstruction of Religious Thought in Islam. Might be of interest to you. Those of you that are philosophically inclined and are okay with heavy reading, that would be quite a read. The Reconstruction of Religious Thought in Islam. But anyway, one of the most important points he makes is that what Allah has given the human being in the Quran is an elevated sense of self, which is different from arrogance. So his concept of khudi, of the self, is actually honoring yourself, and how much Allah has honored the soul, and how everything that emanates from our efforts in this world comes from the amount of power Allah gave the human soul, right? Now, you really, I think, hit the nail on the head. Muslims have accepted an attitude of helplessness around the world. We've just accepted, what can we do? We can only make dua. What can we do? We can't do anything. We're disunited. We're this. We're just looking at ourselves as this helpless, lost, once glorious days used to be there. Now they're all gone, and we're not going to be able to get it back, etc. And his argument is actually very Quran inspired. It is to first realize who you actually are and what you're capable of. Like that first, your own self-actualization and realization, and how Allah is giving you that empowerment through His word. That is the first step to any revival of any nation, right? And we are at that stage now where we need to restore our sense of self. My favorite ayah of the Quran on this note is actually in Surah Al-Hashr. وَلَا تَكُونُوا كَالَّذِينَ نَسُوا اللَّهَ فَأَنْسَاهُمْ أَنفُسَهُمْ. Right? Don't become like those who forgot Allah. Allah made them forget themselves. What does that mean, they forgot themselves? They forgot the amazing truth that lies even within them. So if you couldn't value Allah, it necessarily ended in you not being able to value yourself. And so both of those things actually go hand in hand. Now, what's happened in broken Muslim cultures is you value Allah, and you know what that means? You're worthless, you're useless, you're a loser, you're a faqir, you're a gharib, you're a miskin, you're a sinner, you're a blah, 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 blah. And that's because you love Allah so much. And there's this false humility. I believe in humility, but I don't believe in false humility. I don't believe in deprecating yourself and constantly putting yourself down as your prayers aren't good enough, your du'as aren't good enough, your sins are too many. Make istighfar. But Allah doesn't want to have people live in shame. Make istighfar and move on. Make istighfar and move. Ista'marakum fiha. He wanted you to build in this world. He wanted you to develop, So that level of confidence does need to be restored. And I do believe, to me, when I think about my own relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, my own relationship with Islam itself, the pillar in it has been the Quran. Like, studying the Quran kept me grounded with the changes that were happening in the world.